Thriving at 50 and beyond, building resilience and consistency for lifelong vitality. As a health coach, behavioural coach, and nutritionist for the last 25 years, I've found that the most important thing that someone can learn if they want to change their health for the better is to first build resilience. There are going to be times on this journey that you'll doubt yourself, that things will become very challenging and uncomfortable. And this is when you have to push through to make sure that you do all that's possible to achieve your goals. Without a resilient mindset, about the attitude to persevere and push through, you will come unstuck. So what I want to show you over the next few minutes is what it will take to be able to become stronger, fitter, and healthier over the age of 50. And it's more than just what you eat, how you exercise, if you get enough sleep, and how you manage your stress. It's also how you mentally view what's required and what is possible to actually implement the right exercise, the right nutrition, the right sleep, and stress management. So let's get started. So I've found there are 6 pillars of healthy aging, and they all work together. They don't work individually. So as we go through each one of these, I want you to think how they actually work together. And by the end of this, how do we put all these 6 pillars together in a way that each of them will benefit you and help you grow? So what are they? The first one is mindset, cultivating a resilient mind. This is the most important one, because if you can't cultivate a resilient mind, as I said earlier, you'll come unstuck, because you'll find the things that are necessary to get stronger, fit, and healthier too challenging, too uncomfortable, and therefore you will give up. No matter how good the diet is or the fitness plan that you're following, your mindset is the most important thing and the thing that you need to get right before you follow any diet or exercise plan. The next one is exercise, consistent movement for strength. Exercise is important as we age, because the stronger and fitter we are when we age, the better we can handle any mishaps or ill health that comes our way as we get older. You want to go into anything that rocks your health with as much strength and fitness as possible, so you can get through that and come out the other side. And the most important thing you can do with exercise is just do it as often as possible. Don't worry about what type it is. Just do it as often as possible. With nutrition, you want to find eating habits that are sustainable. Don't worry about diets and meal plans that have worked for other people. You've got to find what works for you. And that means being able to do the changes that you have made to your diet over and over again. Even after you achieve your goals, can you still sustain those eating habits? And then there's stress. The most important thing when it comes to stress is awareness. What type of stress are you having? How much stress are you under? That will give you and inform you on how to manage that stress. You can't avoid it. Stress is just part of life. But what you need to do is be able to manage it as the best you can. And that comes through better awareness of what stress is. Sleep. Sleep is the foundation that the other 6 pillars are built on. If you don't get your sleep right, you won't be able to recover from the stresses of everyday life, from exercise, through the changes in your diet. And sleep is when the body repairs itself, it grows itself stronger. So if you're not getting your sleep right, it doesn't matter what diet or exercise plan or stress management plan you've decided to follow, sleep will undermine all of that very quickly. And then the last one, environment, designing for long-term success. Your environment will either help you or hinder you in these changes that you have to make. If the environment is hindering you, you will find that your willpower and your motivation and your perseverance won't be enough. Where an environment that is helpful to you will actually make the process of change easier and uncomplicated, and not much thought and effort is required than an environment that's not helpful. So we're going to now go over each of these pillars in more detail, but just remember, all 6 of them work together. They can't work individually. You can't just focus on one and forget the others. You've got to work on all 6. So the first one, mindset. As I said earlier, this is the most important pillar. This will determine how well and how easy it is for you to stick to the changes that are necessary. So just think, if you're going to change your diet, I'm pretty sure that you currently have a diet that has foods that you enjoy. And actually changing your diet might involve getting rid of these foods. So what is your mindset towards that? Are you willing to put up the discomfort of not having the foods that bring you the most joy and start eating in a way that reduces the enjoyment factor when it comes to eating? What sort of mindset do you need to overcome that? And this is where your belief system comes into it. We all have beliefs, and what we believe decides how we think. And our thoughts determine our emotions. And in turn, our emotions drive our actions. And ultimately, our actions will decide the results we have. If we do that in reverse, if you're not happy with the results you're getting, it's because you're performing the wrong actions. And you're performing those wrong actions because you have got the wrong emotions. And your emotions have been decided by the way you think. And how you think is down to your beliefs. So ultimately, if you want a different result, you've got to first of all change your belief, which is not an easy thing to do. And that's why I'm saying the mindset is the most important pillar of the 6. Because you've got to understand what is holding you back. The reason you haven't got the results you want already is because certain beliefs, a certain mindset is holding you back. So you want to first look into what is holding you back and what you have to change in your belief system and your mindset to stop those things holding you back. Only then will you be able to build mental resilience. Mental resilience comes from experience of trying things and seeing that they have worked and giving the results you want. So by changing your belief system, by understanding what's holding you back, you'll be able to start doing the things that move you forward, which in turn will build mental resilience because you'll start seeing the change and the results you want. And ultimately, it comes down to how you use your time. Your time is no different from anyone else's. We all have 24 hours in the day. So what is the difference between people who are successful in achieving the goal you want and the people who are not? It's not because of time. It's how you use that time. And this comes back again to your belief system. If you believe that you don't have the time to go and exercise, you don't have the time to perform stress management strategies, you don't have the time to cook good, healthy meals, then you'll find reasons to back up that belief. And if you do that, you'll just keep getting the same results you've always got. So ask yourself, how best can I use my time? Is the time, what I'm doing with my time, going to help me move forward, or is it holding me back? And we always do give time to the things we value the most. So if you find you're not giving time to the new habits and behaviors that you know will help you achieve your health goals, it might be because you don't value that goal enough. And that's okay. We might have to step back a bit and reevaluate what it is we want to achieve. Because if you're not giving time to the things necessary to achieve that goal, it's probably a really strong reflection that you don't value it enough, because you're giving your time to things that you value more. So when it comes to your mindset, what is your belief system? What is it you believe is possible? What is holding you back, stopping you moving forward? What are the things you need to do to build that mental resilience? And how best can you use your time to do the things necessary to help you achieve that goal? The second pillar is exercise. When we get older, the most important thing you can do when it comes to exercise is maintaining muscle. Muscle is the thing that's going to help you stay strong, stay supple, stay stable, and give you the energy to do things in your life that you enjoy, but also what is necessary. As we age, our ability to maintain our muscle decreases. That doesn't say that we lose muscle. We can still sustain the same amount of muscle as we did when we were younger. We just have to work harder at it. And that means having to do more work than we were in our 20s. Because if we don't, we're going to lose muscle quicker than when we were younger. We lose muscle every year of our lives, because if you don't use it, you lose it. But it just gets harder as we get older to sustain it, to maintain it. So think to yourself, what is it I can do every day that will help me maintain my muscle mass? No matter your age, no matter your gender, no matter your ability, you can always do something to help maintain your muscle. Because if there's one thing that will age you quicker than anything else, is losing muscle mass. The next thing of exercise is stability. How stable are you? And this comes back to maintaining muscle. The more muscle you have, the stronger you'll be, the more stable you will feel. There's nothing worse than feeling unstable and feel like you're going to fall, or you can't stay upright. So you want to do exercise that challenges your stability, your balance. Because again, with muscle, just like muscle, if you don't sustain it, you're going to lose it. So too many times as we get older, we start holding on to things, we start looking or avoiding things that make us feel unstable. And actually, the more unstable you are, the more often you are unstable, the better you'll become at staying stable. So you've got to put yourself in a situation where you feel unstable to improve your stability. The next one is staying supple. We call this flexibility, mobility. The more supple we are, the more flexible we are, the more mobile we are, the more energy we have, less aches and pains we'll have, the more confidence we'll have to get through the day, to do things that are physically demanding. And the more physically demanding something is, the healthier, fitter, stronger we'll be. Staying supple doesn't take a lot. It's one of the things that the body adapts to the quickest. It's just doing a little bit every day. For example, every morning when I brush my teeth, I always stretch while I'm brushing my teeth. I either can stand in front of the mirror and watch myself brush my teeth, or I can actually do some stretches while I'm brushing my teeth. Now, on its own, it's not a lot, but every day for the last 10 years, it adds up. I'm more flexible now than I was when I wasn't stretching while brushing my teeth. That doesn't mean I don't do other stretches throughout the day or spend time in my week doing concentrated stretching. But if I can't do those, then I always know that every morning when I brush my teeth, I'm doing some form of stretching. So with stretching, it's the consistency, it's the frequency of it that really makes a difference. When it comes to cardiovascular health, or as we call it, aerobic health and aerobic exercise, there is a huge benefit from doing more. The more you do of it, the better it gets. So it's okay to back off the intensity and go for longer. Find at least once or twice in your week where you challenge yourself cardiovascular wise, aerobically, for a long period of time. Now, you might find 15 minutes is a long period of time. Great, then do 15 minutes. Some of us might find an hour is long enough. Some of us even might find 5 or 6 hours is what they need to do. But you want to push yourself a little bit longer each time. That's going to improve your cardiovascular health better than if you did short, sharp bursts, which are also beneficial. I'm not saying you shouldn't do those, but also throw in a long one, a long workout every week. And that's the same. You don't have to do a long workout every time, but make sure once or twice a week you throw in a long workout. And then the last one, working hard. You can't shortcut your health, your fitness, and your strength. You've got to put some effort into doing it. Now, working hard is different for everyone. You've got to find what challenges you, that makes you work hard, and just repeat that as often as you can every week. Nothing beats hard work. Don't listen to anyone that tells you that you can achieve great results by taking it easy, finding shortcuts. The best people out there, the fittest, strongest people out there are the ones that work the hardest. So when it comes to exercise, maintain your muscle, improve and work on your stability, stay supple, flexible, and mobile. When it comes to aerobic exercise, throw in some long workouts, challenge yourself through duration, and then find time in your week to work hard. Don't take the easy option. Push yourself. That's where you'll get fitter, stronger, and healthier. The next pillar is nutrition. Now, nutrition, the world of nutrition is a complicated one. In my opinion, overcomplicated. And I think it's because people don't put enough belief into the consistency of just following the fundamentals of nutrition. And the fundamentals of nutrition are things like only eating natural foods. That's a fundamental pillar of nutrition. If you only stick to natural foods, food that nature has intended for us to eat, food in its natural state, then you're 4/5 of the way to good health. It's that simple. We don't need to overcomplicate it about what type of food it is. Just natural. I have a simple rule. If you can't hunt it, and you can't grow yourself, don't eat it. The next one is how dense or nutrient dense the food is. And that kind of ties into natural foods. Natural foods always have high levels of nutrients in them. And when it comes to fruit and veg, the darker the fruit and veg, the more nutrients it has in it. And the same with meat. The darker the meat, the more nutrients you have in them. When we come to processed foods, ultra processed foods, man-made foods, they can't hold a candle to the number of nutrients in natural foods. And actually, you have to eat, to make up for the lack of nutrients, you have to eat more of those types of foods than you would if it was only natural foods. So a great way to eat less, if that's your goal, is to eat natural, nutrient-dense food. And I guarantee you, you will not be able to overeat those types of foods. When it comes to our eating environment, we get a lot of triggers of what to eat, when to eat, how much of it we should eat. And a lot of our eating is what we call mindless eating. We don't really think about it when we're eating. We just eat. But if you take a moment and look and be aware of, why am I eating at this moment in time? Why am I eating this particular food? And how much of it do I need to eat? You'll be in a lot more control of what goes into your body. Too often, we are captured by the food industry and made to believe that we need to eat a certain way at a certain time, certain foods at a certain time, and in a certain amount. And their job is to keep you eating, even more so their product. So be aware next time of why you're eating what you're eating, why at that particular time, and how much do you really do need to eat to get the health benefits that you're looking for from food. Digestion is the underlooked part of nutrition. No one really thinks about digestion. But our digestive system is the guardian of our food system. It will decide what goes into your body and what stays out. Your digestive system is a good indicator if you're eating the right foods or not. If you feel bloated, you feel heavy in the gut, you're constipated, or you have diarrhea, or you just don't feel right, it's because your digestive system is struggling to help defend you from foods that are probably not good for you. Our brain and our digestive system are closely connected. One affects the other. So if you want to have a good, clear mind, a strong, resilient mindset, think about what your digestive system is doing. And also, our digestive system has the most immune cells than anywhere else in the body. So our immune system lives mostly in our gut. You inflame the gut, you disrupt the digestive system, then you also disrupt your immune system. So if we eat natural foods, we eat nutrient-dense food, our digestive system will work optimally. When we move away from those two pillars of nutrition, our digestive system will tell you if it's right or wrong. And predominantly it's wrong. We just got to learn how to listen to our digestive system. So when it comes to nutrition, eat as natural food as you can, nutrient-dense food as you can. Be aware of why you're eating, how you're eating, how much you're eating, and listen to your digestive system. It will tell you a lot about if you're getting it right or wrong. Stress management. Stress is so important for everyday life. It gets a bad rap because of the chronic illnesses that can come and chronic poor health that can come from stress. But without stress, we actually can't have a healthy life. The six stresses that the body has to cope with externally every day are the following: mental stress / emotional stress, physical stress, nutritional stress, chemical stress, thermogenic stress, and electromagnetic stress. Each one of these stresses can provide good stress, can also provide bad stress. For example, good physical stress is going out for a walk in the countryside, a brisk walk that challenges you, where bad physical stress is not having enough sleep at night and you don't feel recovered the next day. A good mental stress would be learning something new, studying, having a good belly laugh, being around people that make you happy, joyful. Where a bad mental stress is being upset, angry, and so forth. Now, they all play a part in how the body manages stress. To the body, they're all stress, but one can become chronic or the other one stays acute. And a chronic stress is one that keeps your stress levels high for a long period of time, where acute stress keeps your stress levels high, but only for a short time. And it's the chronic stress that we want to try to avoid and limit. The acute stress we need, chronic stress we don't. So think of your stress as like a bucket of water. We want to keep the level of the water below the lip of the bucket. As soon as it starts overflowing, that's when it becomes chronic stress. So look at those 6 stresses that I identified: mental, physical, nutritional, chemical, thermal, and electromagnetic, and ask yourself, how much of each one is filling up my bucket? How can I reduce each one by just a little bit to keep that water level below the lip of the bucket? And how do we know that we've got too much stress in our bucket? Signs can be you're always tired, agitated, thinking straight, you feel bloated, you can't regulate your body temperature, you're always getting colds, you are finding it hard to lose weight or body fat, always hungry, always feel that you're needing to have some sort of dopamine hit, some sort of pleasure. They're the things that can tell us that we're in chronic stress. Being aware of this going on is probably the most important thing when it comes to stress management. Awareness will give you the understanding of when the changes you need to make. Think of your environment as well. What's in your environment that is creating stress or making it harder for you to manage the stress? Is it people around you? Is it in your house? You've got a lot of things that will keep you stressed, like ultra processed food, chemicals, not enough fresh air coming into the house, and so forth. So look at your environment and ask yourself, where can I improve it? How do I improve my environment, especially my home, in helping me manage my stress better? And that will give you the right strategies for recovery, so stress becomes acute but not chronic. The most important strategy is sleep. Make sure your sleeping environment is stress-free. Don't have phones or TVs, anything electronic in your bedroom, for example. Make sure it's the right temperature, so you're not too cold, not too warm, and you have ventilation, so the air that in the room is in your bedroom is not stuffy. So those little tiny things can make a big difference in keeping that water level just below the lip of your stress bucket. As I said earlier, the most important or the foundation of all these pillars is sleep. We are creatures that everything on this planet needs sleep. It's just what we call the circadian rhythm. And the better your sleep, the better your health. Now, we're not talking about always having ideal sleep. What we are looking at, though, is making sure that your sleep routine is always the same as much as you can. So, are you getting to bed at the same time every night? Are you getting up at the same time every morning? This, what we call sleep consistency, is the most important thing when it comes to sleep. Don't worry necessarily about the quality or the duration, which is important, but the consistency is the most important thing. So your sleep routine should always try to be the same 80 to 90% of the time. Because with sleep, if you lose sleep, you can't gain it back. It's not like you can sleep more on the weekend to make up for the lack of sleep in the week. It doesn't work that way. Every night is important. And we know that sleep is important to not just our physical health, but also our mental health. It's well documented that people with poor sleep habits, poor sleep routines, are more subject and more likely to develop mental illnesses like dementia, Alzheimer's, etc., than people who have a very good, consistent sleep routine. It's when we're asleep, when the body recovers itself both physically and mentally. As well as just being tired from a poor night of sleep, you're also impacting your cognitive health, not just for today, but for the years to come. So I can't emphasize enough how important sleep is. Now, if you are struggling to get a sleep routine, and there's a thing called entrainment, it's going to take around 21 days on average to establish a new sleep routine. So don't give up after the first 2 or 3 nights when you just can't get that sleep right, or you're still wide awake at an hour after going to bed. It takes a while for your circadian rhythm to change and to get into a new rhythm and cycle. So persevere, and this goes back to mindset, with the sleep routine. Your body will adjust. But if you keep changing it and giving up, then it will just keep going back to what it was doing before. You've got to persevere through the first 21 days to establish that new sleep routine, and then it will become natural. So think of sleep as the foundation that all the other pillars are built on. Don't worry about your diet. Don't worry about your exercise your workouts and exercise plans, or your stress management. If you don't get your sleep right, you're going to undermine all those other things. So the last pillar, the environment. Your environment, as I said earlier, will either help you or hinder your progress towards your health goals. A poor environment is just going to throw up a lot of barriers and hurdles when it comes to establishing the new habits and behaviors that you know are needed to achieve your health goal. The environment that you find yourself in has to be one that makes it easier for you to do these new habits and makes it harder for you to do your old habits. Too many times people try to change their habits and behaviors while staying in the same environment, which then virtually makes it impossible for the change to be easy. And they just have to keep fighting and struggling unnecessarily because the environment always will keep pulling them back to doing the things they used to do. So, for example, if your kitchen is more conducive to poor healthy eating habits and poor food choices, no matter how determined you are to eat better, you'll end up just eating the same foods that you've always eaten. So you want to change that environment. You want to take out everything that makes it easier for you to stay the way you are, and makes it harder for you to do the new things that you want to bring into your life. By changing that around, you'll find it a lot easier to make those changes. Less friction. The less friction you have when it comes to change, the more likely you will change and you will sustain that change. Look at the people in your life. Who are the ones that will help you through this process of change? Who are the people who are going to hinder you through this process of change? People are either a cheerleader, a buddy, a heckler, or a saboteur. A cheerleader or a buddy will be there to support you, to help you along the way, will cheer you on, will do what they can to help you. Where hecklers and saboteurs, most of the time don't even know they're doing it, will throw up barriers, will say negative things. They will make it seem harder to actually achieve the goals you want. They'll put up actual barriers and hurdles in front of you. And that might be because they don't want to change themselves. You're the one that's changing, remember. They want to stay the same. But just be aware of these people. You might not be able to avoid these people. There might be people very close to you. But just be aware of why they're doing what they're doing. And try to surround yourself with as many cheerleaders and buddies as you can to make this process a lot easier. You can't do this on your own. You need help and support. To go out and find that help and support and create an environment that is conducive to easy change than difficult and challenging. So, how do we put this all together? The first thing, as I said, is you've got to build that resilient mindset. The more resilient you are, the greater the chance of success. But that only comes if you change your beliefs. You've got to start believing that change is possible, that you're able to make that change and sustain that change. Listen to your language. What's your self-talk? Are you saying things like, I want to do this? Or are you saying, I have to do this? That's a big difference through wanting or having to. So listen to your words. That will tell you what your belief system is currently and what language you need to use to change that belief. How much do you value the change that you're making? The more you value it, the more you're going to keep doing the things necessary to create that change and therefore achieve those results. We always do the things that we value the most. So if you keep seeing yourself doing something that is not helping you move forward, you might have attached a great value onto that. And that's not to say you should start devaluing the things that you've always valued. It's great creating or placing a greater value on the new things that you need to start doing. Because the thing you value the most is the thing you're going to end up doing more often. And that will drive action. Your actions will determine the results that you achieve. Not happy with the results you got, then change the actions that you're performing. And with the new actions, habits, and behaviors that are required to achieve your goal, doing them consistently is the only way you're going to achieve your results. The number one common theme among all successful people is they are consistent in doing the actions that are necessary to achieve the goal they want and have achieved. So if you want the results of being fitter, stronger, and healthier, you've got to be more consistent in following the actions that are necessary to achieve that goal. And those actions are only going to be performed if you value them enough. And you're only going to value it is if you believe that what you're going to get in return for the changes that you are making. And that in itself will build resilience. And the more resilient you are, the more successful you're going to be. So your next steps with the mindset, reevaluate your beliefs and values. With exercise, find an exercise routine with minimal friction, something that you can do without having to put any effort into it. Nutrition, follow a diet that is simple and uncomplicated. Remember, if it's natural and nutrient dense, you're virtually there in being healthy, fit, and strong. Stress, become aware of your stress and what is causing it. With sleep, create a sleep routine that becomes automatic and becomes consistent. And with your environment, design an environment that helps and not hinders you. Don't make it hard for yourself. Try to find ways to make this process as easy as possible. So, how can I help? Building resilience and consistency when it comes to following the right habits and behaviors to be healthier, stronger, and fitter is something that is much harder when you do it on your own. Having people around you to support you, to advise you, to go along on the journey with you is a lot easier than trying to do it on your own. So what I've been able to do is create a community of like-minded people who are also working on improving their lives as they get older through becoming more resilient, more consistent, and be able to persevere when things get tough, and understand that by doing the essential habits and behaviors when it comes to exercise, nutrition, sleep, and stress management, that they will eventually get to the goals that they've set themselves. So if you are someone who is struggling to apply and implement what you know you need to be doing, then becoming part of our community will be a huge step towards you achieving those goals, and not just achieving them, but sustaining them, which is really important. A lot of people end up achieving their goals, but not being able to stay at that level. And a big reason that some other people can is because they are part of a community of like-minded people. I also developed over the last couple of years, from my 25 years of experience in helping people live healthier, stronger, and fitter lives, is a program that is designed predominantly around creating that resilient mindset. As I spoke about earlier in this presentation, the most important thing you can do is to build a resilient mindset. Don't worry about your diets and your workout plans that's endorsed by celebrities and influencers. If you can't actually apply consistently those diets and fitness plans, then you will never get anywhere near your goal. So what my wisdom program has been designed to do, and wisdom in this case stands for wellness is simply determined on mindset, is it will teach you the skills and provide you the strategies needed to build that resilient mindset. And therefore, any goal you aim for will be achievable, and any fitness plan or diet plan you choose to follow is more likely to be successful because you built this resilient mindset. The wisdom program is built predominantly around daily challenges. So every day I will send you a challenge when it comes to exercise, nutrition, lifestyle, sleep. And the challenge is to try to implement that challenge into your day. And it's not about the challenge itself. It's about the mindset you have when it comes to actually doing that challenge. And that's what we do every day. We build on that mindset of when a challenge comes along, this is how we deal with it. This is how we overcome it. And you'll find that over time, by building this mindset, with every single challenge that you come up against. Challenges will start feeling easier. You'll welcome those challenges every day. And therefore, any diet or exercise plan that you choose to follow will be a lot easier to follow. And also, a really important part is a personalized approach to accountability and support. Everyone is different. Everyone will deal with challenges differently. They will approach tasks differently. And when it comes to your health and well-being, it's no different. So as a coach, I provide a very personalized approach to accountability, support, and therefore results. I'll work with you every step of the way to help you overcome the challenges that you're facing, but also hold you to account, which I think is the most important part. Every day, I will ask you, what is your plan to move towards your goals today? And at the end of each day, I'll ask you how you got on. And it's not a judgment. It's not to see how you've done or how badly you've done. It's just that accountability, knowing that someone's going to check in with you. That's going to drive more action and more purpose, and therefore a higher chance of achieving the results you want. So if you found this presentation made you understand better what you need to do to move forward, then please reach out. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions you have, invite you to the community that I'm building, and also go over in more detail what my wisdom program involves and my coaching approach in general. But thank you for watching this. As I said, I hope you found it helpful and useful, and hopefully we can connect and help you on the next stage of your journey.